What's up YouTube? My name is Sean and I make real estate easy. And for the past year, I've been posting content on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But unfortunately, when you make short form content, you only have a minute to really explain a concept. But for today's video, I want to react to some of the most popular videos I had on YouTube Shorts and kind of go into these concepts in more detail.
It looks like you made a lot of money from your rentals this year. Sure did. Congrats on your success. We're looking forward to getting our piece in the mail.
The IRS always wants to get paid. There's a famous saying that there are no guarantees in life except for death and taxes.
Actually, I'm keeping all of my rental income and I'm not paying you anything. That's cute. But you know we're going to throw you in jail if you don't pay us, right?
The IRS does have the ability to throw you in jail, garnish your wages if you do not pay your taxes.
Normally, yes, but my properties are getting older and they've depreciated in value. So I'm writing off my losses. According to Zillow, your property increased by 20% last year. What are you talking about?
So that's the beauty of real estate. Even though the property's value has appreciated, right? Like it gained 20% in value from the last year, we can write off a portion of the structure's value through something called depreciation. And that's kind of the whole concept of this video right here.
That may be so, but in your eyes, the useful life of a residential piece of real estate is only 27 and a half years. So every year I get to write off 1 out of 27 and a half of the structure's value. And even though the actual value of the property has gone up, I can take a paper loss and keep all that money in my pocket instead of giving it to you. It's all in the fine print. Fine, I'll let this one slide. Who taught you this? I learned it from Sean. He makes real estate easy.
When you own a business, different things have different useful lives. Like if you own a restaurant, the useful life of an oven might be 10 or 15 years. After that, you're expected to buy a new one. So the value of that depreciates. Similar to real estate, the value of the structure over time does get older. You do need to make more repairs. And again, according to the IRS, over 27 and a half years, it's going to be worth nothing.
So you can either put 20% for the down payment or 3.5%. I'll go with the 3.5% option. With the 3.5% option, you'll have a higher mortgage payment and you have to pay PMI. And that means you'll be paying tens of thousands of dollars more in interest and fees. Yep, but by doing it this way, I'll become a millionaire. How is that possible? The purchase price for the home is $500,000. At 20% down, my mortgage will be $400K and I'll be paying $2,400 a month. Yes, but at 3.5%, your mortgage will be $482,500. Your monthly payment will be $2,900, and over the lifetime of the loan, you'll be paying $559,000 in interest, plus another $200 a month in PMI. That's almost $100,000 more that you'll be paying in interest and fees.
When you are getting a loan for a property, the usual minimum is 20% if you want a conventional loan and you don't want to pay PMI, or you can go the FHA route and get it for 3.5% down, but there is something called MIP or PMI. You basically have to pay these extra insurance payments in case you default on the loan. So it's like a trade-off. Do you want to put down more down payment and not have to pay these extra fees? Or do you want to put less down payment, pay the extra fees, but get in the house quicker?
It is, but I'm going to invest the difference in the down payment. So instead of putting $100,000 down, I'm only putting $17,500 and investing the other $82,500 in the stock market. Historically, it's returned around 10% per year, and compounded over 30 years, I'll end up with $1.44 million. Wow, that's a lot more than the interest and the fees that you'll pay on this loan. I see why you want the 3.5% option. How did you learn about this? I follow Sean. He makes real estate easy.
So by doing it this way, technically you're going to be making a lot more money because the growth from the stock market historically over time is much more than the interest and fees that you're gonna have to pay on a mortgage.
You're only qualified to buy a $300,000 home. Why do you keep asking to buy a $350,000 one? Because I can. Okay, let's go over the numbers again. It says here that you make $60,000 a year. That is correct. And you currently pay $600 a month in student loans and $300 a month in car payments. And that is also correct.
Before the banks give you a loan, they're gonna run a background search on you. They're gonna pull your credit and they're gonna be able to see all the different things that you already owe. And they're also gonna make you fill out a form where you declare how much you're making. And of course, they're gonna pull all the records. They're gonna get your W-2s, your tax returns, your last few paychecks, all to prove that you can actually afford this home. So it's not enough to just have the down payment saved. You also have to have enough income to be able to continuously pay this loan over time.
So if you already pay $900 a month for your other bills and you only make $5,000 a month from your job, then the most that your monthly payments can be is $1,600 a month to keep your debt to income ratio below 50%.
So the debt to income ratio is the factor that determines how much you can actually afford on a mortgage. So if you're working a $60,000 job, you probably can't afford a $10 million home. So to calculate your debt to income ratio, they take all of your debts combined on the top line and then divide it by your gross income. So that gives you a percentage. Now banks want you to have between a 43 and 50% debt to income ratio.
Based on the calculations, it looks like you can only afford up to a $300,000 home. Why do you keep asking for a higher priced property? Because this property is a triplex and it'll bring in an additional $2,000 per month. And I know that you can use up to 75% of those rents to help me qualify for a more expensive property. Adding an additional $1,500 a month to my income easily lets me qualify for a $350,000 home. Ah, so you know about that. This loan is approved. Who taught you this? I follow Sean. He makes real estate easy.
So what we did here is we talked about house hacking, where you buy a multifamily property, you live in one of the units, and you rent out the other ones. Now when you do this, the banks will actually give you credit for 75% of the income that those other units produce. So in this case, if you can rent out the other 2 units for $2,000, then 75% of that is $1,500, and that goes towards your bottom line. So instead of dividing by 5,000 for your debt to income ratio, now you can divide by 6,500. So it gives you more spread to buy a bigger property. And that's basically what we're doing here.
Would you like a 15-year or a 30-year mortgage? I plan on paying off this property early, but sign me up for the 30-year mortgage.
So in this case, I'm saying that I actually do want to pay off this property in 15 years, but I still want a 30-year mortgage.
Sir, you do realize that a 30-year mortgage has a higher interest rate, right?
Typically, a 30-year mortgage has between 0.5 and 1% more interest than a 15-year mortgage. But that's a trade-off for the bank because they have to lock in a super low interest rate for the next 30 years.
Yes, but it's also more flexible, so I prefer it. How is it more flexible? You're locking yourself in for a longer term at a higher price. It's because the mandatory monthly payment on the 30-year loan is much lower than the 15-year loan. As an example, the 30-year loan will only cost me $2,400 a month, whereas the 15-year loan will cost me $3,230. When times are good and I have money, I can afford to make the extra principal payments to pay off my loan faster. But if there's a recession or a market crunch, then I want the flexibility to make lower payments so I can hold on to more cash. That makes sense. And it also looks like you'll be able to qualify for a more expensive property with a 30-year mortgage too. How did you think of this? I follow Sean. He makes real estate easy.
And you're able to qualify for a more expensive property with a 30-year mortgage because your mandatory monthly payments are lower, and so your debt to income ratio will be lower. So it's another side benefit of getting a 30-year mortgage versus a 15-year mortgage.
Hi, I'd like to buy your house for $300,000. I want $350,000. It'll cost around $30,000 to fix this up. At your selling price, there may not be enough spread to make this worthwhile. So how about we partner instead?
And this happens all the time where the seller's minimum selling price is higher than your maximum purchase price. So if you bought it at their price, you would actually lose money. So you need to be a little bit more creative and think of ways to make deals actually work.
So how about we partner instead? What do you propose? I'll pay for all the repairs up front. And when we sell the house, you'll pay me back first, then you'll get your $300,000, and then we'll split the rest 50-50.
I actually did this in real life. So a lot of people in the comment section are saying, Sean, this is not possible. You can't do this. It is totally possible. The numbers I use here are a little bit different though. The real deal I did in this one was around a $2 million property. So there's a lot more spread. I think more people were more intrigued for doing this kind of project.
If the property sells better than expected, you could potentially get more than you wanted in the first place. Okay, that makes sense. Let's do it. Thank you, sir. Hey man, I got a great project for us. What's the deal?
And the beauty is you can partner with multiple people. So I partnered with the seller on this one so that I could get the property without having to pay for it, right? I don't have to pay for the mortgage. I don't have to pay for the insurance. I don't have to pay property taxes. I don't have to pay for utilities. I'm just in partnership with the seller, and I structured the deal so I was safe. Like no matter what happens, I was going to get paid what I put into the property plus a little bit of profit. Now again, the beauty for this one deal is I actually partnered with my contractor as well. So let's continue. Let's partner together. Since you're an expert at construction, you pay for the labor and the material upfront and at cost. When we sell the property, we'll pay you back first and I'll split my profits with you 50-50. I get it. This way you can invest without using any of your own money. Bingo. I won't have to buy the property and I won't have to come up with the money for the repairs. And you get to participate in the profits. It's a win-win-win. I love it. How'd you come up with this? I follow Sean. He makes real estate easy. Now the beauty for this whole strategy was I had to come up with no money. The seller owned the property and continued to make her payments. The contractor paid for his crew and paid for all the materials up front. So overall, we made money from different spreads without me having to actually put in any of my own money. So that was my reaction and explanation for my top 5 shorts here on YouTube. I hope this was very helpful for you all. And let me know in the comment section below which video you thought was the most interesting, or if there's a short that I did in the past that you want more explanations on. Go ahead and just drop that video down in the comment section below as well, and I'll take a look at it and we'll probably make a part 2 video of this later down the line. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care.